Former Mayor Rudy Giuliani of New York is on. Mayor, thank you for coming on. You always come on when I ask, and I just love having you on to argue with. So let's start the argument. I mean, seriously, I was talking arithmetic. You were the guy that got reelected in New York carrying the west side of New York as a Republican. So you know how to build a diverse coalition. You read Magaziner there by a lot in her home turf of liberal west side New York. So let's talk about building the Republican Party. Can you do it if you spot the other side, African Americans, who, by the way, would be part of any nationalist movement on my part anyway. They're part of the nationalism. And, of course, Hispanics and this growing number of Asian American voters where you have that other 10%. How can you beat the other side if you spot them a quarter of the vote?
Well, you can't. I mean, the simple fact is you can't. I won election the first time by 3%, and then I won the second time by 18. And when I won by 18, I had 50% of the Hispanic vote and 19% of the black vote. And I worked really hard to get there. And I don't believe that your premise that the Trump campaign was designed to create some kind of white nationalist.
I didn't say
How
that.
often? I know, but I think somebody did.
My colleague did. But my argument is that you had a candidate who said that the first black president was an illegal immigrant, that he has snuck in here from Kenya. Then you had a guy who called all Mexican arrivals here, all people who come in the country, however, they came in as rapists and murderers. That was the starting conversation in this campaign.
Okay, but then all throughout the campaign for the last 4 or 5 months, I think in every speech, at least that I heard him give, or every one that I worked on with him, he talked about the African-American community, the Hispanic community, they're being left behind and wanting to use, I called them, he didn't call them that, Republican solutions for their problems, which is safety, a good job, and a good education, as opposed to rotting schools, tremendous crime, like a person shot every 2 hours in Chicago, and neighborhoods in which you're just not safe. And these are communities that have been controlled by Democrats for 30, 40, 50 years without the intervention of a Republican or independent mayor who was able to straighten them out. You just go compare Chicago and New York, and you get a perfect comparison between a city that had a Republican and then an independent mayor who straightened it out, and a city that is over 600 murders this year already, 8 last weekend.
Well, that's a good point. Those are good points to argue, but why did your candidate and you yourself refer to Hillary Clinton as sick and almost dying most of the campaign, and that she ought to be in prison? I mean, you can't claim to have run a clean campaign if you call your opponent at death's door and belonging behind bars.
That's a perfectly legitimate conclusion from the FBI's report that she violated the law. Gosh darn it, her maid was faxing out and sending out top secret material. I put people in jail for that.
Okay.
I mean,
let's start with the health king. Do you believe Hillary Clinton's healthy enough to be president?
She is getting away with a tremendous number of violations of federal law. There's a sailor who's sitting in jail right now who took 3 photographs of a submarine and sent it home to his mother.
Okay. Well,
and when I was in the Justice Department, I used to sit there until 4 in the morning with top secret material. I was too darn scared to send it home. And I certainly wasn't going to give it to my maid if I could have afforded a maid back then. And I couldn't.
2 points of fact. First of all, James Comey was appointed by he's a Republican appointee as FBI director, so he wasn't part of some cabal by the liberals. Number 2, what about Hillary's health? Let's talk about Hillary's health. Why do you keep talking about Hillary dragging her away? The other night they put out the word that Hillary was dragging her away from the Philadelphia rally to the car, that she looks like she's dying. Who's doing that on your side?
I pointed out on 2 occasions that she looked sick. That was within 3 days of the day that she collapsed on September 11th. I think I was probably right that she did look sick. So
what's the point?
I haven't said anything about it after
well, why do you say that kind of thing in a campaign?
Because she looked sick to me. She looked really sick. She looked like she was slurring her words, and she looked like she had lost her train of thought. 2 days later, she collapsed on September 11th. So since then, I've been trying to get my medical degree, but I haven't gotten it yet.
I didn't want to ask you a bottom line. I'm out of time, but I got to ask, are you proud? You're a smart guy. You're a smart politician. I've known you forever. I don't think there's anything wrong with you until this campaign. Are you proud of the way you've been so loyal to Trump that I think you've gone over the top?
I am proud of the way I conducted myself. I think every issue I raised is a legitimate issue. I think that my analysis of her legal problems is spot on. I think she has committed a significant number of crimes that she has gotten away with. And I think throughout their lives, the Clintons have committed a significant number of crimes that they have gotten away with. And I think that's a shame for our criminal justice system.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Rudy Giuliani, the former mayor of New York. Thanks for joining us on election night 2016.